Welcome back to Real Phonies, where we combine love of talking about movies and television with not a lot of actual knowledge about those movies or television. I'm your host, Joseph. With me is my co-host, Christian.
How's it going?
This week, we're going to be reviewing A Star is Born, the brand new star-studded, is it a musical drama? What would you call it?
I didn't think it would be as musical as it was until I was watching it, but I think a musical is a fair term.
It almost is. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like a weird hybrid type.
It
thing.
is.
Yeah.
It's Bradley Cooper's directorial debut, Lady Gaga's film debut, and we're going to be, as this is the first time we've gotten to do this on our new podcast, we're going to still be retaining the better or worse than Transformers metric.
It lives on.
It lives on. Where, as we've noted, Transformers is the most mediocre movie ever made. Everything is either better or worse than it. And so this week we're going to get into A Star is Born, the fourth iteration of this movie, apparently, as I was looking it up earlier today.
I did not know that. I knew it was a remake of the Barbra Streisand, Chris Christopherson.
Correct. Which is the most recent one.
Yeah. From the 80s?
1976.
Oh, man, I was off.
I mean, pretty close.
70s, same thing.
The original is apparently in 1937, and that was about, to be fair, the story that this story is based off of is kind of a timeless story, regardless of profession, but it was more about actors than musicians.
Oh.
And then it was adapted into a musical in 1954 with Judy Garland. And then, I
had no idea.
I know, right? Who knew? I didn't know these things. And then 1976 with Chris Christopherson and Barbra Streisand, which I know is one of Hert's favorite movies, as he told us off air last week, but I'm sorry he's not here to defend it and tell us more about it. But as we said, this one is directed by Bradley Cooper, starring Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga and Sam Elliott and Dave Chappelle for a little bit of it, I guess.
It was a nice moment with Dave Chappelle.
Yeah. Do you just want to do initial impressions?
Sure. Do you want to do a recap or review real fast?
Yeah, so you want to give us a brief synopsis?
This movie stars Bradley Cooper as kind of on his way out artist, Jackson, Maine.
Yep.
And Jackson has a severe alcohol and drug problem. And one night ends up in a bar and he hears Lady Gaga as, Ellie? Allie?
No, it is Allie. It's
Allie. Hearing Allie sing and basically falls in love in that moment and helps her in her pursuit of a musical career while he continues to deal with his addiction. I really like this movie. I liked it for reasons I didn't know I was going to like before I saw it. And what I thought I was going to like, I ended up not being as attracted to. I didn't super love Bradley Cooper's performance in this movie. I thought he was good, but it wasn't my favorite Bradley Cooper performance. And I always knew I was going to kind of like the music, but I was really blown away by some of the songs that were in this movie. And Lady Gaga, it sounds like a diss, and I don't mean it to. 8 Mile is Eminem's story of rise to fame. I feel like this is Lady Gaga's story, or very similar to it, because it didn't feel like she was acting. It just felt very real in those moments. And she really... I don't know that obviously we haven't seen all the movies for the rest of 2018, so I can't say that she's going to win Best Actress, but I do think she should at least be nominated for it because she's very good in it.
We called it so early.
Yeah.
I feel really good about that, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah. What do you think?
I felt very similarly. I didn't entirely know what to feel like coming into it, just because the trailer, I felt like had kind of a limited look at the movie, but really it's actually a pretty accurate representation of the style this movie is going for, and that's kind of what blew me away about it, is Bradley Cooper as the director.
For a first
time director, it's a very specific vision. It's very, I wouldn't say perfectly executed, but I feel like it's stuck very close to what his vision is, and I feel like his vision is very different from, I don't know, what would be kind of like a standard version of this story. And I'd like to get more into that because there are things that I liked and things that I didn't like about it, but I very much respected the fact that I feel like he took a lot of chances in the way that he made this movie. That, it's a strong artistic vision.
Yeah. We might go into spoilers or whatever, but on that note, those last 30 seconds of the movie where it flashes between her and then them and then back to her, I was like, he is a damn good director. And I realized there was a whole movie before that, but so many people may have tried to do that and they would not have pulled it off well, but just the way he does it and the editing process and that is a powerful ending to that
Absolutely
movie.
It is.
He does an excellent job.
He does. Do we want to do ratings before or after we do spoilers?
What do you mean, say if we think it's better or worse, Sam?
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, it's better than Transformers.
I agree. I think it is
clearly
also better than Transformers. It's one of those things where I feel like I have problems with it, but I have problems with it in the sense that once I started seeing this movie, I was like, this is a higher grade of movie, and I'm going to start grading it on a higher level.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, I mean it's miles better than Transformers. It's a really solid watch. So I mean, I'd like you to stick around and listen to the rest of this podcast, but I hope the word of mouth gets this movie
even more.
Yeah,
I mean, if there are a lot of like Oscar baiting movies that people, general public, isn't interested in, and they probably shouldn't be interested in. But this is one of them that you should like. If this is a movie where it's high quality directing, high quality acting, there's good music. And it's got a great appeal. It's got some tough themes, I think, and but it's just really well made and it's really entertaining. I didn't expect it to be as funny as it was. There are some good jokes in the beginning of that movie. It kind of dry up as the movie goes on, but it's really well made. It's really entertaining.
It is, and I think you mentioned it, but one of the reasons I feel like it could do that is because it's a very timeless story, and I feel like just on the basis of the love story, the personal growth and struggles, they feel very universal. They feel very identifiable, and they're very well acted. So I think this is, I think at least 90% of people who see this movie would like it, if not more. Like it's hard for me to find like a demographic of people that wouldn't enjoy this.
Yeah, for sure. One thing that I thought was really interesting about this movie, and I don't know, have you ever heard the play, and there was a movie version called The Last 5 Years?
No. So
The Last 5 Years is a story of a couple that happens in reverse for one person and forward in the other.
Oh, interesting.
So like the first shot, it's a musical. So like, for example, the song for the woman it'll be going forward in time, and for the man will go in backwards. I think I have that backwards though. I think for her it's happening in reverse, and for him it's happening forwards. And so the end of the movie is like the middle moment, like the kind of like the breaking point or whatever. And so it's really interesting to me because this movie is very similar in that it's kind of like the rise and fall of a celebrity. Happening simultaneously, but you're kind of seeing the end while you're also watching the beginning. And I found that kind of dichotomy really, really interesting in this movie, but also done really well. I've never seen like the stage performance of the last 5 years. I've seen the movie, which has Anna Kendrick in it, and I didn't think the movie was super great. So it's kind of seeing the similar story in that you're seeing the rise and fall happen simultaneously, done very well. It was really, really interesting to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's 100% from the moment this movie starts, you see exactly where it's going to end. Well, maybe not exactly, but maybe exactly.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's pretty obvious, I think.
So, yeah, let's see if we can walk through it a little bit.
You want to say just spoilers from here on out?
Yeah, no, so definitely from here, spoilers from here on out. If you want to see it, see it. I mean, I don't think that a review of it will maybe spoil one thing about it.
Yeah.
But really, it's really good. I think everybody should go see it. So yeah, no, you start out with Bradley Cooper, who's Jackson Maine, the falling star. What is he? I guess he's a country rock star kind of thing.
Yeah, I would put in that category. Blues, almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a folksy, bluesy country kind of thing.
Someone who I do think would be really popular in today, because he's like hipster country. He's like a more bluesy Chris Stapleton.
Look, if there's nothing that came from this movie, was like, man, I want to see Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga in concert.
Yes, that's
they'd
true.
They'd be fucking awesome. So does he play his own guitar in this movie?
I think he does.
It looks like he does.
Yeah, we both play guitar, and there were moments I watched. I'm like, I'm pretty positive he's actually playing that. Like what he's doing matches what I'm hearing. So I'm pretty positive. Definitely him singing.
Yeah. And this is his first time really like singing at all. He like specifically kind of has like a lower register, both speaking and singing. Singing voice is fine. I feel he was appropriate for the character.
Yeah.
I don't feel like for that kind of thing you need like an exceptional voice. He more relies on like the songwriting and
that's
the music
his whole
behind
point.
it. Yeah, absolutely.
You gotta tell him something.
Exactly. After a show, just accidentally wanders into a gay bar where he sees
hilarious.
It's pretty good. Lady Gaga perform, just kind of an unknown quantity, just doing a show on a Friday, Friday or Saturday night, and then they hit it off. How did you feel about that romance aspect of it?
So it was a little awkward for me at first. And I think they kind of handled it well because they addressed the awkwardness in which is that he is so apparently trashed.
Yes.
For so long. but she at least talks about it, and that she's like, she addresses it, like, oh, you don't really like me this way, like, you're just drunk, and he's like, no, I really do, and you're like, okay, I've seen this guy before, like, I've seen this happen in person, and I'm thankful that it wasn't just her being like, oh, he's a celebrity, I don't care that he's drunk, like. It seemed very accurate and very realistic, and that she was almost kind of babying him and entertaining him, but also very open and honest, like, you're highly intoxicated right now. It was a little awkward to watch, but I think they addressed the awkwardness and made it seem more realistic, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
I struggled with it just watching it.
It happens pretty immediate.
It happens very fast. And I mean, like, in kind of an understandable way, because we're talking about, the celebrity comes out of nowhere and wants to, like, take you places and do things with you. But like you said, he's trashed, and like the conversations are weird, and I understand that they're supposed to be conveying like a chemistry that's happening, even when she's unsure and he's trashed. But like the what was supposed to be happening and like how that was conveyed in words did not connect for me. And it might actually be how those kind of conversations work. I don't know, but it made me uncomfortable just watching it.
There were
some parts.
There were things that Bradley Cooper was saying specifically where I was like, I can't tell if he's drunk or he's supposed to be a genius. And it just seemed like really bizarre things. And she handles it really well, which maybe that's like the whole connection between the two of them. Is that she can handle it or deal with it and it, some sort of appeal or attraction. But me as the audience member was like, I would never talk to this dude. Like, he just seems like a drunk oddball.
Yeah, he's very weird. I thought he was just kind of creepy in the beginning. The whole first act kind of culminates in they hit it off. He wants to invite her to a show. They talk about her songwriting and her being more of a songwriter than just kind of a singer. And I feel like maybe that's just where I called it on the first act. But the first act kind of culminates in him bringing her on stage and performing with him in front of a big audience of her song. Yeah. And I mean, I thought that moment was very powerful. I thought that was a really good song, and I thought it was a really good moment for both those characters. But the whole first act to me highlighted a couple interesting decisions from a movie making perspective that I think were entirely intentional, and I just don't know that I really liked them all the way.
What were they?
So one of them is that at least 80% of the shots in this movie are all close-ups. Yeah, they don't do like medium long shots. They don't do a lot of establishing shots of like locations. Pretty much everything is told like from somebody's face, like facing somebody, or like from their view, very very close up. And one of the other things that I kind of liked about it, but it kind of affected the pacing to me, is Bradley Cooper does a good job in this of not letting a scene linger, but almost cutting it prematurely, in the sense that I feel like he does a really good job of conveying the minimum amount of information that he needs to get you from one scene to the next scene, and then we'll cut right there and go to the next scene. So like, for comparison, in a normal movie, if somebody's going to go to see somebody, you might see that person like think about it, go to the airport, you might see them like get on an airplane, you might see them land and come to like a door. They're not going to do that. They're going to, in this movie, it would be as soon in conversation that it's clear that this person is going to be somewhere else, they'll cut to somewhere else.
There is a lot of that in the opening of the movie, especially with the driver. Yeah,
but I feel like I'm not that specific example, but that choice of I don't know. It's brevity in the scenes, but it's specifically like trusting audiences to bridge the gap from where you were to where you are now. That's what most of those shots are for in other movies. Which is good, because I think most people, everybody can do that, because we've all seen a million movies. My only problem, especially in the first third of the movie, is both of those things led to kind of, not too fast of a pace, but it was too heavy of a pace, in the sense that I didn't feel like there was enough time to breathe between the different tensions in the scenes. And it gets better later in the movie.
I feel like the movie he wants to tell starts with them on tour.
Yeah, no, it does. I agree.
So he just kind of rushes to get to that point.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the problems I had with the movie. I don't know. Problems isn't the word. It's one of the things that I personally didn't like. I don't know. Again, I think it was the story that he wanted to tell, but both the really close-up shots, they already give you kind of a higher level of like anxiety and claustrophobia, because you're literally in this person's face, mixed with the lack of gaps in between the different tensions, but in the different storylines. I felt like made me feel more anxious than I think I wanted to be watching this movie. But at the same time, I appreciate that. I think that was a choice, and I think that was what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, from there on out, it goes from them doing their first show together to suddenly they're a 2-man act, or a couple act.
Well, before we leave the first
Sure.
act of the movie, I just want to point out that I loved the title card sequence with her just like walking up the ramp, and A Star Is Born like slowly coming on screen, and she's like dead
in the center.
Yeah. That's another moment where I was like, Bradley Cooper knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. I know. That dude's too fucking talented for being as handsome as he is.
For sure. But yeah, no. One thing I didn't know about this movie is that Sam Elliott was in it. And he plays a bigger role later on, like the second act of the film, I feel like, than he does he's hardly in the first act because it's just really the two of them. But Sam Elliott says the word fuck a lot in this movie.
He does. I think he's phenomenal in this movie. I think behind Lady Gaga, he might have the best performance. Like I thought he was like good enough for like a supporting actor.
Yeah, he's very good in it. He pulls this like torn, like annoyed but caregiver role so well. I don't know when the last time we asked so much of Sam Elliott, but
that's absolutely true. I agree.
We should do it more often.
Agreed. Yeah. Absolutely true. And that was another one of the ones that I feel like they did a good job. And they hammer it home more explicitly later, but they don't. And I don't remember anyway, unless I missed it. But they don't explicitly tell you that he's Bradley Cooper's brother early on. But you can glean it from the context.
Yeah. When he finally says it later on, I was like, oh, yeah, okay, now things make a little more sense. Well, because they talk, confirmation.
Well, yeah, he talks early on about the fact that, his father was 63, his mother was 18, and his brother kind of raised him. And, from context clues, you start to realize immediately you realize that his manager is closer to him than just like a manager. Like, it's not there's an extra relationship there. And so I don't know. That was one of the things I really liked is again, it's trusting your audience to put the pieces together. And I thought there were, with the exception of a few clunky dialogue things to get more exposition in there, I thought that was handled really, really well.
Yeah, I have tinnitus.
Do you?
Yeah.
Does everyone who's in the military have tinnitus?
Well, you're around a lot of really loud things. And so I wish I had somebody who followed me around and told me to put my in-ears in all the time because I never wear them, even though I should. So I need a Sam Elliott in my life.
You do.
Also, those conversations between Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper where she has to repeat herself
and
like
I love
4
that.
times.
Yeah.
I have those conversations with my wife. I'm like, can you say that again? She'll say it, and I'm like, one more time. I'm going to get it this time, I promise.
But I especially think, especially like earlier on in the movie when it's not as much of a
progressively
character
gets worse.
It progressively gets worse, and the more I talk about it, the more I like this movie because there are so many little touches. Like even in Bradley's performance is one, he's got like specific like mannerisms to be able to hear better. Like leaning his head in and certain different things. For him to know, and also for people who know him to know that they need to repeat something or tell him something louder. But also that he's got kind of like, I don't know, he's prepared to respond to things that when he doesn't really know what the question was. Like he's got kind of just like generic things to say back when he's not sure and he doesn't want to ask again. It's this lovely little character. It's like even the first meeting with Lady Gaga. She talks to him, and what was that again? And he leans in again. And I don't know, it carries really well. I mean, it's an important detail for the character in his own plot, but it's a character component that's handled so well, and like there's so much attention to it throughout the movie that it makes it feel like much more than just like, oh, this is a fatal flaw in a character, and much more that this is a real person going through a real experience. Absolutely.
In that, it's not so much a fatal flaw in the character in that it almost loses its importance.
Yeah.
It doesn't lose its presence. So in the beginning of the movie, it's like a matter of contention. He has to go, ear doctor, and he needs to wear in-ears. And in the movie, they kind of stop talking about it, but it has more of an effect on how things happen for him. And I think the description you said is it makes him just seem more human. Like it makes him seem like a normal, as a person who's been around amps and amplifiers and instruments for a long time. You see that happen to people. Like, hearing goes. The Who is a perfect example. None of those dudes can hear anything anymore.
So I mean, the honestly, the remainder of the story kind of follows exactly it's a slow but steady trajectory of, they get together, they're doing their own thing for a while, then she's kind of discovered and continues to rise, and he kind of stays stagnant, continues to have substance abuse problems, and then has kind of, resentment issues with her success, and has resentment issues with the fact that her success is kind of coming with selling out what he feels like was like her gift in the first place.
Yeah, how did you feel about that? Like, I like that, but I also feel like it wasn't, I don't want to say addressed enough. I would have been fine more if that was his sole, like, motivation and anger. Like, I think he was okay being on his way out, but there obviously was a presence of jealousy. I'd been fine if the jealousy hadn't been there, and it was just the sellout portion, because he spoke so much in the beginning of, like, you know, having something to say and be truthful. It seemed like he really cared about that. So, like, the SNL scene was a little weird to me because it felt like he was angry about the sellout, but then later on he talks about the lyrics being the problem.
Yeah.
And I would have been okay if it had been one thing.
See, I like it better that it's both things, because it makes him feel more like a person, because no one person is just their ideals. Like, there's no way that guy would not feel frustrated after, you know, being a performer for
so long. Yeah.
To watch somebody just immediately like jump on the scene and kind of skip the line to the top, especially as he's seeing other people, you know, like he's seeing himself being phased out. So I like the fact that it's a combination of kind of just like a gut emotional response with also like it contradicts what he feels like, you know, or his ideals. And he's kind of putting the ideals on top, but it's also that, you know,
think it's almost like virtue signaling. Like this is what he's saying is really his problem, but his problem's probably more he's just really jealous.
Right. I think it's very much a combination. Yeah, but I that's exactly what I think is happening. I mean, the whole movie ultimately culminates in, you know, she kind of reaches her peak, and
while he reaches his absolute bottom,
absolute lowest. And oh man, also what about the British producer guy?
He was annoying AF.
How fucking evil! Like, I don't even mean like
it was almost stereotypical.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. Like, I don't even mean evil. I mean like in the context of this movie that I feel like tries really hard to have grounded characters. I feel like he comes off very much as like mustache twirling villain out of nowhere.
Have you ever seen Spice World?
I haven't. Why would I have?
Yeah, I have. And in Spice World, there's an evil British agent in that movie as well. And that's what I was thinking the whole time I watched it. I was like, this is ripped from Spice World.
I mean, again, we talk about Bradley Cooper doing a good job of kind of playing on audience expectations to tell the story in like shorter amounts than like they, you know, being British is actually a well-known like trope that communicates that this person is evil. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it was in any way by accident that he just had a British accent. Like, I feel like immediately you're supposed to know, this guy sounds funny, this guy sounds British, like all those other villains in like the Die Hard movies. Yeah. He's a bad guy early on. But yeah, so as Bradley Cooper's kind of coming out of his low point, her producer guy pretty much tells him, you're the reason her career is stalling. You're holding her back. Like, you know, you're a joke, and you're ruining her life by being in it. And
he took that to heart.
He took that way to heart. Man, that was a sad ass scene with
it was with the dog.
With the dog, I know.
Yeah, man. I would say this for Bradley Cooper. I think the end of the movie shows his acting chops more than probably the last like 40 minutes. When the substance abuse gets really heavy, and when he's coming out of rehab and he's talking to his brother in the truck, him and Sam Elliott share that scene. He was like, you know, it was never about Dad. It was always about you. Like, that was a good scene. And then, the whole bit in the house and at the end with the dog, and he gives him the steak. And not that I dislike Bradley Cooper for the rest of the movie. I just think Lady Gaga outshines him the rest of the movie.
I would agree.
And in those like last like 20 or 30 minutes, almost where her story is kind of completed itself. She made it to the top. She, you know, now is a Grammy-winning artist. For him, it still had a little farther to go. And when it's kind of just focused on his continued demise, he really, I think, shines in those last few minutes.
And I see my counter is I feel like, and I think you're right, and I think that's by design of the characters, that Lady Gaga is a more charismatic presence.
Yeah.
Because she's very excited about the world that she's in. You know, she's excited to be moving forward. I feel like Bradley Cooper's performance is really consistent throughout in the sense that I feel like that guy at the end is the same guy at the beginning. You know, just like, I don't know.
Just cleaned up.
Yeah, well, cleaned up and you know, with some more baggage and mileage on him. Really, the performances in this movie are exceptional. But yeah, no, well, now that we're getting to the end, I feel like...
Should we just say it?
What's that?
That he kills himself?
Oh, no, he definitely kills himself. I'm sorry. I thought that was implied just by our conversation, but 100% he kills himself.
Yep. Which is apparently a thing in the other movies that neither of us knew.
Yeah, well, apparently in the first one, he just drowns himself in the Pacific Ocean.
Oh, that's more intense, I kind of find, than
it's
hanging
very
yourself
dramatic
from your garage door.
Yeah.
It's not a diss to the movie whatsoever. That's very clearly stated very early on that's how this movie is going to end. And I don't think that's a disservice. You know what I mean? Especially because we've lived it a lot here recently. It seems like where people have kind of peaked and they're kind of on the downside of their career, and there may be some substance abuse problem we don't know about until after they've committed suicide. And because of that story has been more prevalent, and we see it often, you see all of those mannerisms and characteristics in Bradley Cooper almost immediately when the movie starts. So you know this is where it's going to end up. And there may be like 20 seconds where you're hopeful that's not what's going to happen. But then they take it away from you very quickly.
Very quickly.
But Lady Gaga, in the end, I think sings a very beautiful song. And when we were talking earlier about good things, like Bradley Cooper does this really, really amazing thing where they're talking about the song that he wrote while he was in rehab, or she brings it up to him while he's in rehab. And you see the two, it's her singing it, and then it flashes to them at home, and him just sitting on the piano and singing it to her. And then the last shot is just like her staring at a really, like you were discussing, very intimate shot right on the face, her staring at the camera, and it like cuts to black. And that ending it's powerful.
It's very powerful. Literally, as soon as the directed by Bradley Cooper thing came up, the lady behind me went, "Wow."
Yeah,
I'm not kidding. No, I mean, what was your comment that you had about the actual song that she sings?
No, that song is trying to be the new "And I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston. I think it's the song. Like, that's this generation's like love song to be belted out in people's cars, to make you cry. And you think about like, and Lady Gaga. I mean,
she kills it.
She kills it. Like, we obviously all know that she can sing, but she acts her butt off in this movie. But I would even argue this is some of the best singing I think we've even heard out of Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Like the duet song, she nails that song, and then I mean all of her songs are good, but that song and then the
final song I think are the most powerful.
Yeah.
I agree.
She kills it.
I mean, I cried in the last song. It got me all the way through. Neither of these characters felt like me. I feel like most people, when you're writing a movie, you want characters and side characters and things that people can like see parts of themselves in. Neither one of these people seemed like me in any way. I didn't feel like I projected myself onto them. But as Lady Gaga was on her journey, I don't know, like I thought she just did a super good job of playing all the different feelings that you feel on that ride. Of, like you said, it's a very time worn story, but I feel like she hits the beats really hard and really like honestly. Her whole performance feels very honest.
Yeah, completely agree there. One thing, you and I had talked about a little bit about, I feel like this is very similar to Lady Gaga's actual life.
Yeah.
Like Lady Gaga went to college as a music major, studied, got an education. I think if you listen to her vocally, live for some versions versus some other people live, you can hear that in her voice.
Absolutely.
That she's like, classically trained. But she struggled for a while, and I think part of that is because of her looks. And she was a songwriter. I mean, I think she had like a Beyonce song and a Britney Spears song on the radio before she was famous. She had written both of them. She definitely kind of like paid her dues, and I feel like some would take that as a disservice to her acting in this movie, and I don't intend it. Like, I feel like it's very real because she can connect with a lot of those emotions that the character in the film connects with. And that's really the secret to good acting, is being able to say, oh, this person feels this emotion, I feel this emotion because of I've experienced this, and I can relay that. And so for her, I feel like it just was... honest is the only other word I would think of is natural. Like it just was it just feels very real. Like that Allie felt like a real person and a person that I want to spend time with. Like, I liked that character and I liked every time she was on screen. I liked her role more than Bradley Cooper's Jack because, one, I think she acts it better than he does, but two, like, it's kind of, we talked about like the drunken weirdness of the character waned on me, but that's what makes her character so special. While everyone else gives up on him, including you as the audience, she doesn't.
Right.
And that just kind of makes that love story a little more powerful, I think.
And it is. I mean, honestly, like there's a lot of other themes going on, but it's. I feel like it is a very powerful love story because of that. Because she sticks with him through all of his different things, while she's essentially got everything to lose.
Yep.
By loving him. And staying with him.
I now actually kind of enjoy that about Bradley Cooper more now that I'm like vocally saying that. Yeah. I'm like, oh, like that seems like a really smart decision now. Like you create a character even the audience maybe can't stand because it helps you understand why the other characters can't stand him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And so I mean, just sitting here chatting with you about it, like it's every bit as powerful. In fact, it's just growing on me more the more we talk about it. Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I don't know. Do you have anything else about it?
No, it's very good.
It is very, very good.
Go see this movie.
I'm still torn now because I really loved Isle of Dogs this year, but it might be the best movie of this year. It might be the second best, but
it's up there. As a quality of movie, it's probably the best movie I've seen this year.
Yeah.
Like going back, I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Shape of Water, which won Best Picture last year. So. Yep. I think the odds are good for this one. To see come award season, what will come out of it.
I definally think it will.
It'll win something.
I'm calling Lady Gaga.
You're gonna say Lady Gaga?
I'm putting it down.
I will guarantee best original song.
For sure.
Yeah.
Unless Disney's got something coming out.
Mary Poppins.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So what have you been watching, man?
I don't know why I didn't mention it last week. I feel like I should have because we talked about the fact that I went to New York, but I saw musicals.
Yeah, that's right. You did.
I got to see Book of Mormon, which is the musical written by the South Park guys.
Yeah, Matt Stone
and Trey Parker.
Yeah.
And then the music and some of the writing I think was by Robert Lopez, who did Frozen and Tangled and a bunch of
Disney things.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, everybody. It won a bunch of Tonys when it came out. Everyone who's seen it says it's really good. I'm going to be one of those guys. It's so funny. It's so clever. The music's great. If you ever get a chance to see it, I highly recommend it.
I definitely want to.
And I also got to see a new play called Lifespan of a Fact, or The Lifespan of a Fact, which is about like a young intern at a magazine who's supposed to be proofreading, kind of this like seasoned veteran essayist, and then as he's doing the fact checking, he finds a bunch of problems, and then it just becomes it's kind of billed as it's going to be this young guy struggle trying to work with like this grizzled seasoned guy who's resisting him at every turn, but it actually just turns into a really interesting discussion about like how important like specific facts are, how factual things need to be, and like to what grain of detail.
Sounds very timely.
It is. No, it's 100% very timely. But it starred. I can't remember the woman's name. She's also in a bunch of like TV and stuff. Cherry. Can't remember her first name.
I don't know.
But it only had three people. It was her, Bobby Cannavale, who's in everything.
Everything, yeah.
Ant-Man most recently, probably. And
is he the old grizzled writer?
Yeah, he's the old grizzled writer.
Oh, that's an interesting choice for Bobby Cannavale.
Well, it's great because the young intern is Daniel Radcliffe, who's Harry Potter.
He needs no introduction.
Yeah. So it was great. I got to stand I got to sit like 30 feet from Harry Potter. That's phenomenal.
Pretty awesome, dude.
But it was super fun because Daniel Radcliffe's so short and Bobby Cannavale's so tall. Like it really hammered home the he's supposed to be like this young plucky guy, and he's like, kid, what the fuck are you doing here?
That's funny.
It was a really good show. I really enjoyed it. I also started watching The Dragon Prince with my wife.
Ooh.
And it's good. I don't know why you said it started out slow. I will say to its detriment, I feel like the Netflix thing is a bit to its detriment because I feel like it spaces out story structure more than... Avatar had very tight story structure episode to episode, where at the very beginning of the episode, you establish what the conflict is for each character and how they're going to develop. You do the thing, and then at the end, there's resolution. They learn their lesson. You move to the next episode. Whereas I feel like things linger and are a little bit more fluid in this show than in Avatar.
It's a combo of things that I should love, and I do enjoy, which is it's super fantasy.
Very fantasy.
Almost like stereotypical fantasy. Like if I were to say, hey, just pick out 5 words of fantasy and throw that together, and you would say elves, dragons, magic, wizards. That's the plot of this show.
It is.
So that was it felt a little tropey to me, and I just like the characters feel a little bit younger to me than they do in Avatar. And I think
which is weird because they're older. But
well, what I was going to say is the stakes in Avatar felt more pressing.
Well, so
they're like adults trying to solve these problems in Dragon Prince, whereas in like Avatar, it's like anybody who can at this point. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I mean, kind of. I think one of the strengths of Avatar, and I suspect this show will also do kind of the same thing, is Avatar starts out very kiddie.
Yeah.
And it gets more mature as the stakes get higher. And I can imagine this show kind of following that same path. Because even though the stakes are pretty high at the beginning, but you start with characters that don't 100% appreciate those stakes, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Especially the two princes.
Yeah, but I'm really excited about it. You know, there's only like 12 episodes, so we're gonna finish it like this week. But it's really fun. The characters are likable, and I don't know. It's kind of what you'd expect from these guys. It's very like heartwarming, relationship building, faith in humanity, that kind of thing.
Do you think they're obviously their relationship with Netflix is good since they're doing the live action Avatar show as well? Do you think that's going to turn out?
I don't know how I feel about that, but it's so perfect as is. I don't want to touch it, but it's fine. It'll still be there if they make another thing. And the other thing I started, thanks to Zach Evans, who has done our artwork in the past, recommended My Hero Academia, the anime, to me. And I had given it a shot. I'd given it like 2 episodes a while back, and it didn't grab me. And while it's not as like innovative or like groundbreaking as a lot of the ones we talked about on our anime podcast, it's super tropey. It's like all the anime tropes. Not quite as bad as like Dragon Ball Z or something. But they're all there. But it's a world where it's young kids in a world where 80% of people have superpowers, and they're learning how to be superheroes, and there's villains and all this kind of stuff. And again, it's one of those things where even though the characters are I don't know, they're tropes. They're stereotypes. They don't feel like the same kind of real people as, you know, some of the other things that we've talked about. But they're just so charming, and they're hard, you know, they like believe in things, and it's friendship, and I don't know. I love it. I'm super into it at this point. I've already knocked down 2 seasons this weekend.
How many are there total?
3.
Oh, so you'll be done next week.
I'm going to be done this week.
Yeah.
But that's what I've been
man.
watching.
I did not watch much this week. My wife and I have very slowly been powering through Chuck. We did a sizable portion of season 2 this week.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, Zachary Levi is just the nicest guy on the planet. I know you like to refer to what's his face, Ant-Man, as the most affable man on the planet, but I think Zachary Levi gives him a run for his money.
Fair enough.
I started Big Mouth season 2. I am a little over halfway through it. I don't love it as much as season 1. There's a couple of like interesting choices, like they've given a villain to the hormone monster, which is the shame wizard, and it just doesn't like play as well to me as I think they were hoping. And some of the just like the humor choices are they don't hit as hard for me. Like there's a bit where they're like discussing like this girl's like, oh, I don't have Netflix, and Nick Kroll's character is like, oh, Netflix? How do you not have Netflix? Everyone has Netflix. And then it becomes like a 20-second Netflix ad.
Yeah.
And I get that that's the joke. It just like I'm like I feel like that's easy. Like
they also did that in the last season.
They do it in the first season too. There's an episode that's all about Planned Parenthood, and it's like they do skits that are like little commercials involving different characters, and each commercial has it. One's like a horror commercial, and I get the point of the episode. I don't feel like that was the best route to go about, is doing these like little mini commercials in the episode. Like it just feels kind of out of place almost. And I feel like with everything that's going on plot wise in that show with some of those characters, I feel like you easily could have done the same thing as a plot point for somebody versus doing this kind of like weird one-off episode. So there were some like interesting creative choices that I don't totally agree with, but it's still there's even more probably in this season that hits close to home than the first season does in dealing with, you know, puberty and hormones raging and stuff like that. I watched the premiere of Doctor Who season 11 with the 13th Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker. It's good. I mean, it didn't blow me away. We've gotten a lot of really dark doctors lately, especially Peter Capaldi's Doctor. Like his first season the whole premise was the Doctor a good man, or was, you know, everywhere he goes people die, so is he actually good? her doctor is very like bright and optimistic, right? And it starts right away that she's there to help people. It's very reminiscent of the first David Tennant episode, I think, kind of combined with the first Matt Smith episode. So it feels very similar to things they've done in Doctor Who, but yet pretty different. I definitely will keep watching. I'm interested to see how it changes as it goes. It wasn't my favorite premiere of a Doctor, but it also wasn't my least favorite. So we'll see. And as for other things, I know that listeners on this podcast have questioned my love for Harry Potter, but I've started my yearly reread of Harry Potter. So
Very good.
I did Sorcerer's Stone this week, and it's such a light, entertaining read. It's easy and it's comforting, and it feels very fall.
That's fair.
Yep.
They're all just super fast reads.
They are. Yeah. Once you start, it's hard to stop, and especially the early ones because they're like written for like 12-year-olds.
Right.
So they're not difficult.
That's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, that was it. I got a super awesome Leia tattoo.
You do. We need to put that on the
I'll post
the
a
Twitter
picture.
feed.
Yeah, so everyone can admire my.
Oh yeah, I forgot about social media. I saw our Facebook requests for changing the name.
It wouldn't let me do it. Yeah,
we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But were we able to change the Twitter thing at all? Or?
I didn't even try.
I didn't try.
You know what? I think I did. I think I did change the Twitter feed.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. So that's A Star Is Born, and I don't know what we're doing next week.
No, probably I think a director showdown maybe or.
Okay.
Yeah, we have one planned.
We do. So yeah, that'll work. As we just established, reaching us might be slightly more difficult this week. We still have some old Better Than Transformers things out there on Facebook, and the Twitter might be switched over by now.
Yeah.
But you can still reach us at betterthantransformers@gmail.com because I haven't gotten a new email yet. But thanks to Brian Velasquez for our theme, and thanks to Zach Evans for working on our art. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yep. Have a good one, y'all.
Bye.